You've heard us talk about them. They're in, and they're on the website.
Absolutely. Our brand new America's Diesel podcast, branded bills, badass, flex fit, performance material, sweat stain resistant. It literally feels like it cools your head.
I don't know how
amazing.
that's possible, but somehow it is. Yeah, you can rock it. You know, I'm more of a flat bill kind of guy. You can do that. You can curve it. For all you taco holder guys, you can even throw that in there.
Yeah.
And then snap back with a little bit of the flex fit.
Yeah.
Big head approved, small head approved.
And it's extremely comfortable. I almost guarantee, I say almost guarantee. No, I guarantee this is the most comfortable hat you will ever wear. And the logo, rubber, awesome.
Yeah.
Came out great.
Super detailed rubber on there, so it's never going to fade on you. If you want to get one of these in your hands, they are $50, shipped to the lower 48, plus tax, if applicable in your state. Just go on the dieselpowerproducts.com, search hat, look for the fantastic Jam and Eagle logo, pick yourself up some before they're out of stock.
Yeah.
You're listening to America's Diesel Podcast.
So the best part of that little video, the kid doesn't even like move after that. He's just like,
Yeah.
and the dad is just sitting there like creepily behind him.
Like a little fair merry-go-round, just ripping.
Let's go.
I appreciate how that sound clip is starting to come around.
Yeah. So I didn't tell you this. I lined up next to a well, according to our listeners, my nemesis truck, the GM 1500 diesel at a light, stomped his ass. Probably would have been a little closer of a race if we were actually racing, but but I freaking annihilated him.
Well, I mean, he may have, or she may have had
Or they.
a lot of groceries in there that was weighing them down.
Probably.
Maybe it was laundry detergent day, and they bought like a whole entire pallet of laundry
Tell you
detergent.
right, he had no chance. Okay. No chance whatsoever.
No chance at all. Well, and part of that reason is because Tyler finally installed something really cool on his truck.
Yeah, something really cool.
And we're going to talk about it today. It's the Edge EZX.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what right now, guys, the coolest part about this item is not just the power it gives you. And trust me, you're going to want to know about this, especially your 5th Gen Ram guys. So
For sure.
let's get this episode out of the way. Thanks for tuning in. This is Ben and Tyler. Not this episode, this intro. This is Ben and Tyler from America's Diesel Podcast, coming to you from Spokane, Washington. Spokane, Washington.
Yeah. Washington.
Sorry,
Gotta throw an R in there.
Yeah, Washington. Sorry, our holiday party was this weekend, and maybe I'm still just...
Yeah.
It was a banger. Tyler didn't go. He was sick, but it was a banger. Yeah.
Hence
the water. Yeah, we're drinking water today. Not
hydration.
We're definitely not hungover, but we'll get to that in a minute here.
Edge Products is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to aftermarket vehicle performance.
They have tuning, intake, and exhaust packages for just about any year, make, and model of truck, making it really easy to wake what you have up and get you moving better on down the road.
And also monitoring with their Edge Insight series, probably the best monitor on the market.
Yeah, and if you've got stuff on the truck you want to monitor that maybe your stock PCM isn't, they have their EAS system, expandable accessory system, which allow you to add in just about any sensor to any temperature or pressure you have on the truck.
Yeah, and especially for you new truck owners out there, one of the most popular add-ons to do is a throttle sensitivity booster, which will drastically improve the drivability of your truck and get you feeling like you just added 100 horsepower without adding nothing at all.
So hell yeah, Edge, keep making great products, and thanks for sponsoring the show.
Woo!
Thanks for tuning in. This is Ben and Tyler from America's Diesel Podcast, coming from Spokane, Washington. You can find us on all normal podcast avenues, Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, and when you find podcasts, you can find us on there by searching America's Diesel Podcast. Also, make sure and check out our Instagram. We do go live on there every Wednesday right around 5 p.m. Pacific time. Come have a beer with the boys, hang out, talk a little bit of smack, and just hang out with a good group of dudes.
Yeah.
Good group of dudes, little dude sesh. Also, check out our Facebook page. We do have a private Facebook page. You can find it by searching America's Diesel Podcast -the group. There are 3 questions you have to answer to get in that group. I monitor all of them, and I will accept or deny you. There are many right answers and many wrong answers. They are like that for a reason. So answer them to the best of your ability, because we're trying to keep out the bots, and we're trying to keep out the people that don't actually listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
And if this is your first time listening to the podcast, you're a podcast listener. Like, welcome. You should join the group. Just so you know, it gets a little spicy in there. If you like some spice up your life,
Hey.
Get in there.
Everybody can use a little spice.
Everybody gets a little spice. Child reviews.
Oh, yeah. Let's keep those reviews coming in. We are moving up in the ranks. We greatly appreciate it. Leave your 5-star review on any of the platforms that Ben mentioned earlier. Screenshot that and send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Make sure you include a picture of your truck and an address that we can send a sticker to. It looks just like the logo on our hats.
And this episode today is brought to you by Edge products.
Yes.
Edge. Freaking love them. We've had them on the... Actually, I've had a ton of them in all of my trucks pretty much now.
Yeah.
We sell them on the website. Obviously, you can check them out. You can search them by brand or by specific year truck and look at the chips, tuners, programs, and whatnot, or maybe even the gauges because you can monitor with like the Edge Insight. You can get yourself an Edge Use Attitude, Edge Evolution, Edge Revolver, all that kind of good stuff, and they will get you set up the best monitor in the industry. Hands down. I love them.
Yeah.
Let's get this episode underway.
Yeah. So... Edge is a listener of our podcast.
They are, which makes me happy.
Which is cool, right? You know, they know I have a 21 Ram, and they had just released 2 new products. I'm going to back up a little bit because like back in the day, when I say back in the day, like I'd say probably anywhere from like 5 to 10 years ago, you know, obviously tuner options were, there wasn't as many as there is now. Okay, or I should say there might be less with certain applications.
Say 5 years ago there was more.
Yeah.
10 years ago definitely not.
Right, but one of the most popular tuners that was sold for, especially Cummins guys, was called the Edge EZ. Just a very simple, mild, not too aggressive. It's kind of perfect for the guy that used his truck as a truck, wasn't looking for massive amounts of power, wasn't looking to dive deep into the engine, you know, to be able to support, you know, a giant tune. So Edge came out with the Edge EZ, which is just a simple box that plugged in under your hood, and you gain like 60 horsepower with it. And that was perfect for most people.
Yeah, but that 60 horsepower is a nice, like, solid wake up on the truck.
100%, 100%. And you can still use the truck as a truck with that tune. So, and mileage wise too, that's a great amount of horsepower to add to help with mileage. So now jump to, you know, current day, you know, we've got these, you know, new trucks with some pretty in-depth electronics and whatnot. So Edge kind of, you know, they came out with the Edge EZX, which is still a very simple kind of plug and play type tuner. But you have the ability to either purchase it, install it, control it through your cruise control buttons on your steering wheel, or download Edge's app and control it through the app.
Highly recommend the app.
Highly recommend the app.
Super easy.
It's super easy.
Even Tyler, who hates phones and technology, I watched him do it. It only took him 2 tries.
Yeah, only took me 2 tries. And but anyways, or you can purchase it with an Edge Insight and kind of control it through there and have a monitor at the same time. Great little tuner. The Edge EZX, the standard one, the one that I have for my truck that we installed, is right around that 700, just under 700 $700, or you can get it with the Insight. I think it's just over $1,000. But Edge was nice enough to reach out to us and send me one.
Totally. It's like, and full disclosure, like I'm going to say it's Mark.
Yeah.
He listens. So Mark, shout out to you. Thank you.
Yeah. Major shout out.
And he knows that Tyler has a 21 and he emailed and he was like, hey, you guys want to use this and talk about it? And I showed Tyler and Tyler was like, that's actually like the one thing I was looking at. Like, that is badass.
Yeah, well, it was funny because he had reached out a day after I'd added him to the site.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool little tuner, you know? Anyways, so he sent me one. What was it? Last week? Yeah. Last week, Friday. I think it was last week, Friday.
That's when we put it in.
When we put it in. Yeah. So last week, Friday, we busted it out of the box, pulled my truck in the shop, and we installed it. And I'm going to talk about the install here pretty quick because it's actually, I think, because we took a little bit more time just because we're like, you were filming and whatnot. I think realistically, you could get that tuner installed in like 30 to 45 minutes.
Totally.
I will say the hardest part, and this is not Edge's fault. This is what Ram does, but getting to that damn rail pressure sensor, like they freaking stuff that first of all, they have that stupid foam around everything. And then also the location of it is right next to like the bulkhead connector on the firewall. So, it's easy enough to do. Just disconnect your batteries, unhook that bulkhead connector, push it out of the way, and then you still kind of have to move the harness a little bit. And what I ended up using was a pick, because the rail pressure sensor has a lock on it. So I used a pick to pop the lock up, and then I used needle nose pliers to kind of get the connector off. Other than that, though, it's a pretty easy. I mean, what I do like about the install instructions on there is they give you because there is a cable that goes through the firewall that'll hook to your throttle pedal, because the Edge EZX will do throttle sensitivity. And It gives you that ability to adjust that sensitivity in all the power levels, which is super cool. So you can kind of fine tune it for your driving style. But in the install instructions, they tell you where to go on the firewall, because back in the day, they were just like, run it through the firewall.
Yeah.
You just kind of like, you figured it out. But it's, hey, shift cable right through just poke a hole in that, push our harness through.
I like how the part that goes to the firewall, they were thinking far enough ahead, because you may look at it first, you'd be like, I got to fit this entire plug for this sensor through a grommet on the wall. Yeah. Like, no, they have a nice small diameter connection that goes right. So you're basically fishing the equivalent of like a USB drive through the firewall. So it's even smaller than that.
Well, because I did end up pulling the whole connector through, but what I did first was from the inside of the truck, I made a slit in that rubber grommet, and I pushed the cab side harness through, and then reached down in the engine bay, connected it, and then kind of wiggled and pried and kind of, you'll get it through. And I kind of wanted it as a tight connection, like a tight, area there to pull it through, because moisture and whatnot. I wanted it to try to still seal a little bit, but other than those two things, like, first of all, it's not hard. It just if you just take your time and just kind of don't break anything.
Yeah, and disconnect your batteries for the love of God.
Disconnect your batteries first. Otherwise, very, very simple install. Like I said, you could have it done. I probably could have had it done in a half hour.
Yeah.
And that's still even taking my time tying up the wires and making things clean looking.
With the included zip ties.
And
I know it sounds like we're really jocking Edge right now, but this is part of the reason. Like they came with the Velcro to put it underneath the hood. Yeah. It came with the zip ties to keep things nice and tidy. Yeah. They think about that extra kind of shit.
100%. So install wise, super easy, plug and play. We got it all done, everything plugged in, turned the truck on, fired up the app. One thing I had to do was restart the app once. So like kind of actually clear it, close out. And then you have to like be within a foot of the box that you mount under your hood. But as soon as I cleared the app and restarted it, it connected immediately. And I was on my way putting it to the max power level and max sensitivity like immediately.
I didn't have time to stop him.
He's like,
I didn't even have time to turn the camera on yet to see his screen.
Already max.
He's like, and Max, like, dude, hey. I need to film this part of it. Can you go back to normal power? He's like, he hadn't even started the truck yet. It's like max power.
That's just, how I roll. So max, it'll give you a 60 horsepower, 130 foot-pounds of torque, which if you think about it, so my truck's a non-HO, so it's 370 horsepower. I added 60. We're up into the 400s. 850 foot-pounds of torque, adds 130. We're close to 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. Real knocking on the door of the HO. But the way that power is added, like it's just perfect. It's the perfect amount of power, exactly what I wanted. Regardless, even if I didn't have an Edge tuner and I was going to put a different tuner on there, I would want just kind of like a 60 horsepower tune. So I'm dealing with a stock 68 RFE, which we all know there are, they ain't the strongest tranny in the bunch.
Super durable.
Yeah. So they're known for their durability. Yeah. 60 horsepower. When I first drove the truck out on Friday, I turned the sensitivity to the lowest on the highest power level. And I drove it around, and you definitely notice it, especially I've gotten really used to the power of my truck currently because I've been driving it for 2 years, so definitely noticeable right out of the gate. I probably lasted 4 miles, and I was like, all right, let's get some sensitivity going, and so pulled up my phone, went down to my power level, there's a little edit button next to the power level, and it'll pull up the sensitivity of your pedal, and I went to extreme.
So was that like while you were driving?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, just at stoplight.
For some reason, I thought it was like a not on the fly.
No, I did it. It worked. Definitely worked. So
okay, that's kind of
if
cool.
You're not supposed to do that, I did it. So
no, that's badass.
No, but you can switch on the fly because you can use your cruise control buttons.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
So
okay,
I honestly, I have to give kudos to Edge because in the past, when there's been some sort of tuner that has had an app or whatever, something to deal with your phone, it's always been kind of clunky and not necessarily work exactly how you think it should, kind of a thing. Their app matched with this device works flawlessly. I love it. Because I don't need to have it on. I don't need to have it on all the time. Like I set it to that max level. And we adjusted some other things, which we'll talk about here in a second. But I set it at that power level. I set it at that throttle sensitivity. I haven't opened it since, just because I love the way it drives right now. And like I said, it is. I cannot wait to tow with it because it is. I know this is not the case, but it almost seems like it helps with that weird erratic shifting that the 68 RFE has because it's the way that the throttle is introduced with, it's more throttle with less pedal basically. It just seems to shift nicer.
So it made command more out of the transmission now that it's seeing more throttle faster.
Yeah. So I feel like it shifts better. And that could just be my head, but I truly do feel like it does because there's been some times where it has kind of a weird erratic shift on, certain, hills with certain throttle input. No, I am thoroughly enjoying that tuner.
I also liked on the app too, that it's very, like you mentioned easy to use, but like even when you go into like, let's talk about the features a little bit here.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like the first thing you did was the tire pressure monitor system because you have the light on.
So I had my light on because wintertime here. I don't need 70 PSI in my bold tires.
No.
So I've got them dropped around 40 and 50, like 40 in the back, 50 in the front. And you literally open the app, hit TPMS. It has front, rear, and up or down arrow. Or you can
just disable
the light so your system still works, but you're just disabling the light. Or you could turn the system off completely. So if you put aftermarket wheels and tires on and you didn't get new sensors and you just have a light because you don't have any sensors, you can just turn the system off, which is nice.
Well, and there's no like special code like if you do this, you need this equation. It's just arrow up, down.
Well, we ought to also bring up in the past too with these 4th and 5th gen Rams. I mean, for the longest time, you couldn't do TPMS. You couldn't do gear changes.
Yeah,
we'd have to sell them a whole different device, like an AEV ProCal.
And even then, a lot of times you still had to go to the dealership to get that finalized once you installed it on the truck.
I hope this isn't messing up, but I'm gonna go into demo mode.
But and that's a big thing we're going to talk about here too.
This is I have to zoom in on that. You may get a picture of it. But anyways, when you open the app, it shows power levels, tire size, gear ratio, TPMS, button recall, turbo timer, max cruise, fog/high beams. So you can turn your fog lights on with your high beams, ECT protect, which doesn't give it full power until your engine's up to operating temp, display gear. So you can display gear, whatever gear you're in with your transmission on the dash.
Without being in manual mode.
DPF rate regen, diagnostics. High idle, I don't remember if that was on.
Is that new?
I don't know. I didn't update it. That might be new.
That might
because
be
it was asking us to update it.
So,
but it says high idle too. But I think even on my truck, you can use the cruise control for high idle. But again, power levels pretty self-explanatory. Each power level has an edit button, so you can edit the amount of sensitivity you want to add. Tire size, again, pretty self-explanatory. When you're doing tire size, make sure you measure your tire. Don't just, if you got a 35, usually they're a little bit smaller. They're not actually 35 inches. Go out with a tape measure, actually measure it.
Yeah, and so that's tire size to recalibrate your speedometer correctly. Again, that was
your dash.
That was not super easy in the past.
Not super easy in the past. Same with gear ratio. So if I changed gears on the truck, boom, I can do it right here. Again, TPMS, we just talked about. Button recall. This one, if you're a 5th gen Ram owner, you've probably experienced this. When you're towing, kind of, it's just a little bit of a hassle. It's not obvious. It's not like make or break the truck, but it's nice because let's say I'm towing and I have my tow haul mode on and I have my exhaust brake on auto. Well, every time you turn the truck off, you have to, and turn it back on, you have to hit those buttons to turn those back on. You can select button recall. It will leave exhaust brake on. It will leave tow haul mode on, which is super cool. What I thought was also really cool, turbo timer.
That's right.
Okay. I haven't set it up yet on my truck. I am going to though. And for guys that don't know what turbo timers are, if you're running your truck super freaking hard, and then you just shut it off, okay, you've got that turbo that's still extremely hot, that now has no oil being circulated to it.
Or the oil that is in it
is getting cooked.
It's getting cooked and it's going to coke up the bearings.
Yep.
And just, yeah.
Yeah. So a turbo timer is a great thing a great protection device on any vehicle, anything with a turbo. What it does is it'll leave the truck running until, and you can set it either off of time, you can set it off of EGTs, you can set it off of both. Like you have full control over it. It'll leave the truck running until the truck reaches a certain temperature, and then it'll shut itself off. Max cruise, I don't know who's setting their cruise for 95 or 100, but hey, if that's your gig, you can do it. Again, fog lights with your high beams. If I had fog lights, I could turn them on with my high beams. ECT Protect, we talked about gear. DPF regen's pretty self-explanatory. Diagnostics.
That's pretty good. The manual regen.
And you could do a readiness check on your emission system.
That was also not super easy to do in the past either.
Yeah. I remember back in the day we had to do like stationary regens at the dealership, dude. It's freaking the scariest. Like they'll give you cones to set out.
Yeah, basically just put a pole on the throttle pedal and just let
her park it out there.
Just let her rip.
So as this tuner, it's not a tuner that is going to add a bunch of horsepower for you horsepower freaks out there, right? Like I know there's people out there that want more than 60 horsepower, but if you don't want more than 60 horsepower and you want features like this is probably the only tuner out there that has all these features. I think it is the only tuner out there that has all these features.
You could sell that with just the throttle sensitivity and no horsepower levels.
Yeah.
And I guarantee it would still sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where like, I'm not saying that more power is not good. More power, baby. Like, give it all,
everybody
right?
likes power. Everybody.
But the features that is able to do
rich
with that ease is absolutely insane.
Yeah, and there's no crazy screens to go to. It's just all right there. So it's super easy. And like I said, for a guy that uses his truck as a truck, I mean, let's face it, a lot of these trucks are getting horsepower levels that are a milestone for earlier trucks. As far as, close to 500 horsepower on a truck. And and like I said, if you're that guy that just, tows a camper or even uses it as a daily driver, but just doesn't want to do anything else to his truck as far as internal engine stuff. He doesn't want to do head studs, doesn't want to, go and build a transmission, doesn't want to put, big pumps on it, big injectors, that sort of thing. Check out the Edge EZX. Seriously, it is a great little tuner.
Also, it does not touch the OBD2 port.
Does not touch the OBD2
if
port.
You physically remove this from the vehicle.
Zero footprint. And so you could, if I had to go to the dealer for a recall or something, and I was scared that they were going to void my warranty because I put a tuner on it, I could just disconnect everything and put it all back. They would have no idea. No idea. I mean, so it's a great all around tuner, and it's a feature rich tuner. So you get all these, you get all these user adjustability parameters that in the past where you had to either go to the dealer or buy a totally separate device to be able to do. Edge has got it all in this one package with it very, very, like I am cell phone illiterate and I can use this no problem. No problem whatsoever. So
Caveman approved.
Caveman approved. I dig it. I'm super excited to tow with it. I will say my, now I know I need to hand calculate this, okay? It gets pretty tough when you got a 50-gallon tank, all right? And fuel prices are through the roof, all right? So just settle down, everybody. But my Liometer is at 21.6 right now, which is astonishing if that's true.
Yeah.
Like astonishing.
I mean, even if it's off a little bit, I mean, you're still in the high teens for sure.
If I'm in 20s, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Stoked. This is a crew cab long bed 3/4 ton truck.
Yeah. Emissions intact truck.
Emissions intact truck.
If you were to say that sentence 10 years ago,
people would be like, no.
like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You mean 12.
Yeah.
You got the numbers backwards.
Right. So yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to tow with it. Yeah, once the snow starts melting away, we can, because my camper right now is just completely snowed in. Like the snow doesn't melt in our cul-de-sac here, not cul-de-sac, but our road.
Got that north facing house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's so crazy. Like the whole road is bare until you get down to like right in front of my house. Snow on the road still, snow in my driveway still. Yeah. So
yeah, luckily my driveway is southern facing. And I feel bad for the guy across the street because like mine will be like melted off and it's like
he's got
ice
freaking ice truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Sucks.
So Edge, again, thank you for sending that to me. I greatly appreciate it. I love it. It's a great little tuner. There's really, I can't really think of anything bad to say about it.
No, I can't either. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that even you take away the throttle sensitivity part of it and the horsepower part of it, you could probably still sell it for almost that same price for the features that are on there.
Yeah.
Especially for someone that maybe had a 1012 or a 1318 in the past and had to go through all of that shit when they were trying to do it.
Yeah.
Like that's huge.
Yeah.
Like I think that part is once these trucks, I think there's a market for Edge to sell just those features for a little bit less cost.
Yeah.
Maybe call it $500 or $550 just to be able to have a box that plugs in and does all that, where maybe someone already has custom injectors, larger turbo, and they want to keep their custom tuning, but they got to handle all that other stuff.
Well, I also have to give kudos to Ram a little bit because
For leaving that back door open.
well, no, there's that board underneath the dash where that star connector they talked about. There's a bunch of empty slots, and I think that's the reason why you don't have to use, because how would it do tire size? How would it do any of that without being plugged into the OBD2? It's that other, I can't remember what they call it.
The star connector?
That little star connector that goes, you didn't see where it got plugged into, but it's up under the dash on the driver's side. And there's like a bunch of these empty, we should probably pull up the install and get the actual, but it's like a, basically a communication board, some sort of communication board, but that's the only wire. So that has to be where that communication is going for gears, tire size, speed, all those features is just those, like that little tiny connector. And Ram left a bunch of them open. So it just says like plug in into one of the open slots on the back board, the board closest to the driver's seat.
So that would indicate to me that if it's communicating doing that, not to pick your technology apart here, Edge, if we're wrong, please tell us.
Yeah.
But theoretically, if they sold, say, a similar box to that box
that just plugged in under the dash
without any of the sensor T's in there, you could potentially be able to alter stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Edge, if you are listening, AEV, the ProCal, had absolutely zero to do with performance. We sold the absolute shit out of them because it was the only thing out there that could do that, and they were like $300.
Yeah, yeah. If they had, I 100% agree.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm super stoked on it. And again, Edge, thank you, and thank you, Mark.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
If
Mark.
there are any other manufacturers listening, and you kind of like what you listen to right now,
real firsthand experience with your guys' parts, like
holler at your boy.
The star connectors. No, go down to the where they talk about plugging it in, because you couldn't get the camera up in there.
No,
which unless you had like a series of mirrors, that's the only way you're gonna keep going down.
Gear shift access link.
Right there. So step 8, locate the star connector junction box under your dash above the parking brake release latch. There are 2 green junction boxes with connectors. Connect to the junction closest to the rear of the vehicle in any open port. So in my truck, there's like a whole stack of them. So yeah, that's obviously how they got. You don't have to use the OBD2 port, which is awesome.
That was really cool.
Yeah, which
Oh.
I dig too, because at the same, how many times have you had something in your OBD2 port and you smack it with your leg?
Yeah.
Like all the freaking time. I've felt like I've like broken some of those before. But yeah, kudos to you, Edge. I greatly appreciate you guys sending that to me. I love it. It's a great little tuner. I can't wait to tow with it. And yeah, I'm gonna calculate my actual mileage. I have a feeling it's gone up, but I haven't had calculated it yet.
Yeah. And we are also going to touch back with Tyler to get a review once, warmer months come around and you start towing with it. And we'll get an official review of how you like it. I can't imagine you're not going to like it, but like how it's worked as far as towing and whatnot, daily driving.
It's exactly what I would be looking for. Like I said, out of any other tuner, whether I went with, in like an Easy Link or whatever, I just want a 60 horsepower tune. Like I don't want, again, I'm not looking to build a transmission. This truck's not a race truck. I want to be able to I want to be able to look cool, tow what I need to tow my trailer out to the campsite and go have fun with my toys and my family with that, and then be able to get home and not have to worry about anything. And
and now when you lay into it a little bit, it's, I'm not saying that it was a super slow truck to begin with, but it's like,
it's a nice little pickup.
A little peppy now.
No, it's perfect. It is the perfect amount of pickup. It's just, especially after you get used to your truck, and it's just like that little added bit. It definitely feels like more to me. I mean, especially with the throttle sensitivity that's been increased, which we've told people, like, it'll feel like you added horsepower, but you actually didn't. So yeah, great combination of doing a 60 horsepower tune with throttle sensitivity. You guys killed it. I love it. Like I said, I'm excited to tow with it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. All right, we're gonna transition a second.
Transition.
Oh, that's that. With the
oh, that raps. Oh God, she hit me with that. What the? Is that like? I got that dude's for real.
That's a for real thing. Whatever, man.
Hard pass.
Whatever. So Tyler, or what?
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So Tyler called. First off, I always know when Tyler's excited about something because he won't just message me. He'll like holler because our offices are right next to each other, and it's usually serious when he says my full name, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Ben, come here.
Yeah.
Come here. I'm like, oh shit.
So he's just
get into it, man.
All right. So I was listening to another podcast. Full disclosure, Ben Shapiro, Shapiro Show.
I'm sure almost all of us listen to him anyway.
I think a lot of people listen to him. Obviously a lot of people, he's like one of the highest ranking podcasts out there. But anyways, and he had mentioned something. It was on yesterday's, which would be 1/10 of 23. On that day, he had talked about, and he said this. He kind of phrased it as this wasn't making news anywhere. Like I'm like he was surprised that this wasn't like breaking news. Yeah, kind of, right. Especially with with climate shit going on, or not going on at least after this. Anyways, he had mentioned that the ozone has rapidly. I don't want to say rapidly, but is repairing itself. Mm-hmm. Like by a lot. Yeah. Like to the point where in 2050, it's going to be like, because they go by Celsius, which is super weird when they talk about ozone stuff.
The one time that like the American standard is better, because the Fahrenheit is a smaller unit. Like 1 Fahrenheit is, what is it, 5/9 of a Celsius degree? Yeah, that's the one. You could be more exact if they just use the freaking Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Anyways, but by 2050, they're saying is essentially going to be back at the level as it was in 1980. Wow. Okay, and this is due to, I forget the name of the damn act.
Oh, you said Montreal?
Was it Montreal? Yeah, some sort of agreement. Corey could probably pull it up. But anyways, that was back when they kind of outlawed the CFCs in aerosol. Chlorofluorocarbons. And
the only reason I know that off the top of my head is from reading the back of before tangent here. Okay. Before cell phones, folks, when you were taking a dump when you were a kid, if you didn't have a magazine or a book to read, you just picked up
counting
whatever
tiles.
you had. Yeah, you were counting tiles, or you picked up whatever was near you.
Just
maybe
Corey,
like
sorry. Type in ozone repairing itself.
And you would basically just read whatever was on there. And at that point, it was all of the like shaving creams, anything that basically was like a self-propellant coming out, all of them had the little logo that said no CFCs.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I felt I needed to know what CFCs always stood for. And I'd say chlorofluorocarbons. Chlorofluorocarbons. So now forever, I will always know a CFCs is chlorofluorocarbons.
Yeah. So the ozone is repairing itself. And again, it's getting to the point where it's back to the levels as it was in 1980 when they decided. So them deciding to ban those CFCs, that's when they switched refrigerant for like AC systems, got rid of R12, went to R134A. Again, these are all things like us in the automotive industry. We still have aerosols. We still have refrigerant for our AC in our trucks. No big deal. Ban it, whatever.
Yeah.
But they are actually noticing that particular, just that change is allowing the ozone to repair itself back to 1980 levels. And then I started thinking, I'm like, okay, back to 1980 levels. Like, wow, that's like most diesel, passenger car diesel vehicles.
And definitely pre pickup truck diesel.
Yeah. So like, that's wild.
Yeah.
So if it's like pre-1980 levels, does that mean like our emissions that we've been spewing out doesn't make any difference?
Well, and then when you look at how hard they're trying to push, getting rid of cows or
methane,
or
cow farts
or getting
burps.
The Montreal Protocol is what it was called.
Montreal Protocol.
And then getting tearing down all non-energy efficient buildings and building new ones.
Yeah.
Probably using inferior equipment like battery powered whatevers and cobalt mines and shit.
Yeah.
But when you look at that, and they're hoping to reduce the global warming by 1% of 1 degree over the next 7,500 years or something like that.
Yeah. And they were, I never mentioned, they were saying this was going to drop. So by 2050, it was going to drop like a full degree Celsius.
Yeah.
But I don't think at this point we need to do anything else. Just let that.
Yeah. If it's repairing itself, we need to kind of keep letting it repair itself. And, maybe if it stops repairing itself, look at more.
I know, but at the same time, so like if it is repairing itself, then our diesel trucks and our race cars and our diesel race vehicles and all that really isn't making that big of a difference if it's already on pace to repair itself by 2050.
I could see them saying, but this is also why I'm like kind of pissed they're not like publicizing this more. But if that's the case, I could see the other side of them saying like, well, it would have been repaired faster if we didn't have those damn diesel trucks. It slowed everything down. But then that's a great talking point. Why aren't they talking about it?
But at the same time, they're trying to ban diesel trucks or internal combustion engines in certain states to only help the temperature a portion of a freaking degree.
Yeah.
Where this is going to drop a full degree.
By just staying the course.
By just staying and doing what we're doing.
Yeah. And the other side of that too is what's the part we were talking about today? Why aren't they talking about it? Why isn't anybody freaking talking about it?
So when I first pulled it up, I thought I found like the most like secret piece of news because I Googled it and there was only like 5 things that came up. Like not even a page 2. You couldn't even scroll down. Mm-hmm. But then I don't know if it was my computer, it was just being slow, but then I was able to scroll down. But a lot of places that are reporting on this are not American. They're like Australian or UK or that sort of thing. So it just goes to show you that when news isn't in the benefit of the people that are portraying this certain narrative, then they're not going to talk about it.
Yeah. And it also makes you wonder too, like if that's the case, and when you look at, how long it's, taken for these things to start healing themselves, right?
Yeah.
So let's see, 1980, we're coming up on like 43 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So of those 43 years, we've had emissions on the vehicles since 2007 and a half.
Yeah.
So what is that, 13 years? 15 years?
Yeah.
So less than half of the time that this repair has been going on, there have been emissions on vehicles.
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't need to be there in the first place.
Right.
Maybe just need to make them run cleaner.
Yeah.
Maybe the EPA needs to, tuck its tail between its legs and go visit Lenny.
Yeah, or
and see
I don't
what
know.
the fuck Lenny's doing.
Do some fucking research.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we're this is why you come to the podcast, but we start tangenting. I am absolutely here for how hard Lenny's going in the paint right now.
Yeah.
Lenny at Dynamite Diesel, Lenny Reed. He's been on the podcast before. Check out their website, check out our website, listen to our podcast with them, listen to our shop walkthrough with them, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He has an absolute vendetta. And it's not, he's not trying to go there to flip people off, or he's not trying to go there to tear the establishment down or anything. He's like, guys, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You're going about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Here's the data. Your data's insufficient. I bought the same machines you have. There's no way you could. Yes, I did. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
It took me many years to acquire these things.
Yes.
And I've got I used your numbers and I made it better. We don't even need that shit anymore.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love what he's trying to accomplish right now, and I support him 100%. I think he's onto something that's going to start I don't want him to get too cocky about this, because he's obviously my friend, but
I do.
I got a feeling the Lenny Reed, or if he ends up having to team up with some other people to kind of get that shit out there, that he's going to become a household name of the diesel revolution pretty quick here.
I hope so. I seriously hope so, because again, when you hear stuff like that, again, you hear Ozone's repairing itself, oh, that's great. It's what? Why are we continually trying to why are we trying to eliminate these giant swaths of manufacturers and stores like us and racing stuff? No, you don't have to do that. The plants will eat it.
Yeah. We're just making plant food, man.
We're just making plant food. That should be a sticker.
Yeah.
We're just making plant food, baby.
Plant food.
Just plant food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like grass? We do too.
Yeah.
I
love trees.
I love trees. Why do you think the road next to my house is so fucking green?
Yeah. Because seriously.
I've got literally diesel everything.
Yeah.
And my grass is green on that side.
Yeah.
The other side's where the gas cars drive. It's all dead.
Yeah. No, it's it just makes you wonder. Just makes you think. But
no. I like what's happening right now. I like I guess I wouldn't say I like what's happening, all of it, but I like that the diesel industry is finally also with stuff Coriolis is posting now too.
Yeah.
It's very on the nose right now.
Yeah.
And they've EPA, government, all of it, whatever. They've basically backed every single person in the diesel industry into the corner that actually knows anything.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck it. You asked for it. Here we go. I'm done. You already fined me.
Yeah.
You already took many of my dollars.
Yeah.
You got nothing else to lose. I'm going to play exactly by your rules. And guess what? I'm going to fucking win.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Facts.
I dig it. I dig the videos that Corey's putting out.
Yeah.
He was even posting some people are getting pissed at him for what he's saying. It's no, but it's freaking true. The guy's been through it. Like you said, he's got nothing to lose at this point. He already got the fine. He already paid it, and he's moving on.
Yeah.
But it's
when he was talking about if you guys are on these forums and you see these deletemytrucknow.com, racedpf.com, whatever. If you're advertising, the government knows about you.
They already know.
I'm not saying they're the smartest, but they're not dumb, and they may move slow, but they will get you.
Yeah.
It's the snail that will follow you for the rest of your life. They're gonna get you.
Yeah. It's like herpes.
Yeah. Can't hide that shit. But they're going to find you. They're going to get you. And it's and also if you're buying from them, just know that you're getting the absolute, you're taking possibly a $60, $70, $80, $90,000 investment, and you're going to the most expensive portion of it.
Yeah.
And you're buying the cheapest shit.
Yeah.
And
good luck to you.
Yeah.
Good luck to you, bud.
If you're trying to find someone that's going to give you the best, emissions intact tunes in the industry, because I've gone through it all. I already did it.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's whether I like it or not. This is I did it.
Well, even Corey said, he's like, I've even learned so much more being forced to only deal with these trucks from when he began doing the emissions and tax stuff. So no, more power to him too. Keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah. And to sum that up, yes, me and Tyler are drinking water today.
Yeah.
But Tyler's doing a little bit of we'll call it a cleanse, maybe?
We'll call it just a
little reset.
New year, new me, you know?
Yeah. No, we're not going to quit drinking. We're not any of that. Just every once in a while.
I got a little sick on the Christmas party weekend, which I was definitely bummed that I missed. And then a few days after that, I just kind of didn't feel right. So I just, just trying to get the H2O in.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee you anybody
flush.
listening to this does not drink enough water. No one drinks enough water.
Except,
except my wife for some reason. Like, that lady can drink water. Yeah. I mean, shit. She like all the jokes you hear about like waking up and you hear like you're just drinking. That's my wife. Like I constantly have to ask her, do you have your water receptacle? Is it full? We're going somewhere. Do you have enough water where we're going? Do you need me to fill it for you? Do you want hot or you want warm water, room temp water, or cold water? You want 2 ice cubes? Did you want a straw with that?
Yeah.
Because I learned very early on, like we were still dating.
Yeah.
She couldn't find her water bottle, and it was like it was a bad day. It was real. And I mean, I was like, just buy another one. He was a fuck. No, I need to find my water bottle. Okay.
Do you want my wife?
Chill the fuck out.
Do you know what my wife does now?
What?
She'll order, she'll go get coffee at like Starbucks, and then she'll order a large water, and then she'll reuse, like she'll just drink out of those clear Starbucks cups with the lid. Like that's what she drinks her water out of.
Yeah.
Like I need to find a place where I could buy like 30 of them.
You know that they make like insulated, like or actually like dishwasher safe. Won't do it.
Dude, she has so many cups, but no, she likes the plastic ones.
Yeah,
okay.
It's just the right amount of thick, thin plastic.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what it is either.
Whatever,
Whatever. I'll drink out of the garden hose and go, shit, tastes better anyways.
Oh, update on my dishwasher if anybody cares. GE sucks asshole. Never buy GE. We'll just say I replaced everything and the problem still exists. I was telling Ben, it was like me, like, okay, I've got an issue with a misfire on this truck. I'm going to go ahead and replace the engine, transmission, body, wiring harnesses, basically everything but the chassis itself. Problem still exists. I have no idea how that's even possible. Don't buy GE. Don't buy Don't buy GE. I'd rather get, I think Hot Point is actually GE owns, so don't buy that shit either. Just buy an LG. I don't know.
I can tell you this. All my appliances.
Kenmore.
Actually, I think most of them are Kenmore. All mine are probably at least 20 years old.
I wish I had the original dishwasher that was in my freaking house.
Flawlessly.
It was probably bought in 95, and it was the same one that was in there when the house was built. And it's probably still, if I could find it at the dump, I could probably pull it out of the freaking pile, all dented and scratched, plug it in, the thing would probably work flawlessly. My
it's
Lord.
So true. Appliances, yeah.
First world problems here. Yeah, I don't want to freaking hand wash my dishes. Thank you very much. I already have to rinse them off before I put them in the dishwasher, which is supposed to clean the dishes. Anyways.
Yeah. First world problems. Yeah. You've heard us talk about appliances before, and my wife has said that as well. She's like, I don't want a washing machine any newer than this.
Yeah.
I don't want a digital display. I don't even want numbers. I just want the
I want the one that goes.
It's exactly what I think we probably have, like
that buzzes like with an actual buzzer.
Yeah. Not like
yeah. Like, oh, it's done.
Yeah.
God, I would freaking.
And it like doesn't have a sensor when it gets unbalanced. It'll just bash into your wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I want these brutal appliances. They might kill you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're going to work forever.
Yeah. My Lord. Don't buy GE. Just don't buy GE.
Well, on that one, folks, that's going to wrap this one up. I greatly appreciate all you guys tuning in. And again, a special thank you to Edge for hooking Tyler up with a fantastic piece for his truck.
Yeah.
I really like it's, again, Tyler does not get excited very often. When he came back, he was just like, dude, this is it.
It's just a great little tuner, and again, I know some people out there be like, "Oh, no, yeah, 60 horsepower." It's like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes that's all people want, and that's all people need, and especially depending on what you're doing with. Again, I'm not doing anything crazy with my truck. It's the perfect thing for it. So I'm super happy with it, and like I said, I'm excited to freaking get some weight behind that bad boy, and let's see what happens.
Hell yeah! Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at dieselpowerproducts.com.